I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. We are, of course, live, and Chris Aceto, I don't know where he is, but he's in his car somewhere. The car crashed. But good news is that his guy won the show. So, Chris, tell us the story. What's going on down there?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta, and I'm in my crashed rental car.
How did you crash the car?
That's right. If you look at my... It doesn't say Chris the technician. It says State Farm Chris.
Tell us what happened. What happened?
Well, I was taking my son to the gym, and of course I'm talking on my speakerphone and trying to find the gym.
Which is the right way to do things. You're not using the phone incorrectly at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
So I had Lamar Shaw in the show, wherever it is today. I don't even know where the show is. And I asked him something like, when did you eat last? And he's giving me like the time, the time, which is the time difference from where I am. And I'm like, not.
They were in Albuquerque, New Mexico for the Men's Classic Physique Open there. Yeah.
Just tell me like how many hours ago you ate or whatever. And I wasn't paying attention. My son screamed like, Dad, and I like, Dave, I don't work out, but if I was doing a leg press and slamming the brake, I put my foot through the brake itself.
Yeah.
And I rear-ended this guy.
Oh shoot.
And I've never been in an accident, so I don't know even what to do,
Right.
So
at least you didn't run away.
Well, yeah, I got out of the car. And, I mean, there was nothing my car was stuck to his car. There's nothing I could do, really.
You like the brakes? They didn't work. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, and so I said, what do you do? Call the police? I mean, how's this work?
Yeah.
And
mad?
And what's that?
Was the guy mad?
No, I hit the greatest guy ever. I gave him my cell phone. I gave him, I said, believe me, I have insurance. I'm going to take care of it 100%.
Yeah.
And, but believe me, Dave, I could have hit an old lady crossing the street because I wasn't really paying attention. You know what? I learned my lesson.
So you're taking full responsibility for what you do.
I will never, ever handle my phone in any way, shape, or form when driving the gang.
It's very dangerous. I know. I don't pick it up, and once in a while I'll glance at it, but you can't get caught up in that cell phone while you're driving because it definitely is dangerous.
Well, the worst of it is, like I said, I mean, if my son didn't scream, I wouldn't have reacted,
Right.
And I would have just smashed us into the car behind,
You should. What you should be doing is your son should be driving. You should just be on your phone doing your.
Well, he can't because he's, you know what I mean. It's a rental car. You got to be like even.
Oh, right. You gotta be able to, yeah, you can vote it and drink at 21, but you can't drive till you're 24 to rent the car. It's the stupidest thing of all time.
Yep.
So Lamar won the show, which was great.
Yeah, he won the show, qualified for the Olympia, and you know what's funny, Dave? There's so many backstories to my trip to Atlanta. Lamar, people don't know what Lamar qualified for the Olympia. Maybe let's see, I'll tell you when it was. not last year's Olympia, 2 years ago, right?
Okay.
True story. 63 people in the show. So I'm in like row 5 or row 7, and like Weinberger pulls out like a row of 12, another row of 12 come out, quarter turn, front double, back double. Next 15, right. I'm looking for like people who I have in the classic, and I'm looking for Lamar, and I'm like, God, I can't find him. And then I turn, and he's standing right next to me in a panic. He had a car accident.
No, my God.
He missed prejudging.
Oh, shoot.
And so I ran to the, I don't know if I ran to the judging table or called, and I said, I got somebody here who, he's missing prejudging, all of it. He wasn't in that group, like, the 63 people who they parade out. So then they went to their like 1-minute routines. And I think it was Steve Weinberger, and he said, is there smart, so it wasn't bullshit. He said, is there an accident report? And I turned to Lamar and said, do you have an accident report? He said, of course. So they let him, they whisked him backstage, and he went out and did his 60-second and did the comparison. Oh, wow. But
see, back in the day,
he's bad.
Back in the day, Wayne DeMille would never have allowed that. They would have disqualified him.
I mean, it brings back shades of like
Lee Thompson
with Cedric missing a meeting, and
competitors meeting. He didn't even miss prejudging. He missed the competitors meeting.
He pulled a Putin.
Yeah. Well, Lamar looked great, as we saw in the pictures I've just shown, and he's going to the Olympia. So
yeah,
good for him. Good job. That was the center podium show in Utah. So.
Yep.
It was a missed opportunity for a lot of guys. I mean, there's only 7 guys in the whole show. I mean, I see these men's physique guys, they're so concerned about qualifying for the Olympia. These shows, you got to keep your eye on the calendar. These smaller shows that like no one thinks about, you got a stacked lineup at these bigger shows like New York Pro, and then a show like this, 7 guys. I mean, this is a missed opportunity for a lot of people. So congratulations, Lamar, for showing up and for getting that pro card. I mean, for getting that Olympia qualification. So
back to the Olympia.
Yeah, it's today's Tom Platz's 69th birthday. Can you believe it?
Would he drop his drawers to show his quads?
He did. I'm going to pull up his picture in a second. Hold on.
His quads probably have more separation than who has trouble separating their quads.
His quads look better than I got news for you than most people's on stage today. Look at that. Before and after. 1988 and now 2024. Almost 70 years old.
Lee Priest is the best person to have on. Lee Priest made me, Dave, cry.
Right.
On this show when he describes training with Tom Platz, because I trained with Tom Platz 87 and 88.
Right.
About that. And he takes things to way different levels of failure.
He does that. He makes the whole machine move, right?
Yeah, well, if you're doing like shrugs, right? And you can't even when you've done like the 40th drop set, you can't even hold the weight in your arms. He'll tell you to shrug, and you're not even moving your trap. And he'll scream at you like, one more, and you'll think you're shrugging. I've seen it on video. Someone has a video with a camcorder somewhere where I trained with him, and I'm doing like shrugs, and he's like, one more, and I'm shrugging, and Dave, nothing moves. And then he goes, one more. After I did one more, I did none, even though he thinks there's
right
one.
So well, you saw those leg extension videos he does where he's like the whole machine is moving, but he's like making the machine jump. He's hitting that machine so hard. But he's got a bunch of appearances coming up. So June 26th, he has a guest appearance in Boston. Contact Steve Cardillo and Handsome Pete if you want to see that. That's at the Cardillo weight belts and ANC in Boston. He's also says he's gifting his new autographed photo flyers, autographing my new R3 exclusive birthday belt and T-shirt. All right, and then on June 28th,
I got to turn the AC down. I'm freezing. The engine barely works, but the in this rental car.
Well, at least you got air conditioning. Yeah, hold on. Well, let me continue giving him plugs. June 28th, celebration continues in Europe. And July 20th, let's meet up in Culver City, California. Oh, he's going to be judging my good friend Siavash Fashi's six-pack gym super show. They're doing like a transformation contest and all kinds of cool stuff there. You probably saw the commercials when we ran them earlier. And so he's got a lot going on still. It's 69 years old. He looks great still. He looks like the fountain of youth. I know his beautiful wife Cha, they're all into natural, organic foods and raw foods. And so I've had some nice discussions with her about those. So you can see that he's living the good lifestyle still, and he's looking great. So,
does he still have that? Does he still have the vet? Is the question.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He's a big car guy. He's a definite car guy. So.
He had a red vet, Dave, when I knew him.
Oh, really?
And it was a convertible. Mm-hmm. And he brought that thing to the gym, and he loved that to death. That was his pride and joy. Right.
Look at his I know he used to drive it, and that was when the vets were small too, Chris, right? And they weren't big vets.
Yeah.
I don't even know he got in the vet. Yeah. But his wife Cha is 74. She looks amazing too. Look, there's a great picture of Tom right there with his legs. That was just 2 months ago. So those freaking quads, man. People say how your quads, don't stay big when you get into older age. Well, his do. So he's doing something right. I think he still squats.
Of course he does. I think he lived with. I think he may have roomed with. I don't know if Sergio lived with him for a while or trained with him for a while, way back.
Oh, Sergio Oliva?
Yeah.
He was living with Dorian. He said his visa expired. He has to come home.
Yeah, no, he was with Dorian for a long time. They were training, Dorian. They were training in the gym daily.
Yeah, I don't know it's a shame because evidently because he had hurt himself, so he's just getting back to training with Dorian again full time. And then they said his visa, I guess he's got a Victor problem. His visa is well overdue. So if he doesn't come back, he'll never be able to go back to Europe again. So it was smart that he came home. At least that's what I read on his Instagram.
Yeah, he's going to be in Vegas.
He said he really learned how to really do the heavy duty blood and guts training that Dorian does. So I'll bet he comes in bigger than ever. Do you think he's going to compete this year, Chris? I mean, you do his diet, so.
No, I don't. That's Neil Hill.
Oh, Oh, Neil Hill's doing his diet? I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be bigger than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
will he compete this year? Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll see him compete when it go.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what else I got on my list here. We got a lot to talk about.
I sent Sergio a picture of my son, right?
Right. What did he say?
He texted me back because Sergio's the wittiest and quickest guy in the sport in terms of if you want someone on Iron Debate, if you want to lose, bring Sergio on.
Right.
He likes to argue. I sent him a picture of my son, and he said, "Oh God, why I can't be as good as my dad or as good as your son."
Yeah, it's good. How's your son doing, Fareed?
He's good. Diet's hitting him,
Yeah, well, he's got 6 weeks now.
6 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do another. We'll give him another 2 weeks before we do another photo update from him.
Yeah.
It's like Chris's son competing is like, if you've been following all the Bronny James stuff on the about the draft, they're trying to get LeBron James' son drafted. And they want him to be on the Lakers so he can play with his father. This is like you're like your son Fareed is like Bronny James. We gotta give him the little nepotism plugs here on the show, right? Yeah. So
gotta deliver the goods at the end of the day.
Yeah. Exactly. He will. All right. And I wanted to bring up some sad news in the bodybuilding world. I had mentioned Rowdy Gobert had died. I know you probably knew who he was. Did you know his father?
I saw his father compete because I went to the 1982 Nationals, the first one ever.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Won. I was 15 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm sure John the historian, what's his face, was there. Yep, and Lee Haney won, and I think Gobert won the, I don't know what division it was.
Was it lightweight?
Yeah, Dean Tornabene won. I think Gobert won. Moses Maldonado won, and Mike Christian threw a tantrum. He was in the show.
Oh, did he? I didn't know
that. No, he didn't throw a tantrum. But Lee Haney won, and Tim Belknap was this crazy super hype for the show.
Oh, was he?
And Lee Haney, beat him.
So Roddy is on the left. That's his dad on the right. They were the first father-son pros.
Yeah.
And of course, Labrada, came after that. But
why didn't the son compete after getting his?
He turned pro. He was, he was like a lightweight. So I think he just wasn't big enough. And then he didn't have men's physique. Then he would have been a great men's physique guy.
You mean classic physique?
Excuse me, classic. Yeah, he would have been a great.
He would have been a good 212 guy too.
Yeah, he might have been a little small though for that. I don't know, but he definitely would have been a great classic guy. He had that classic physique. His dad was James was bigger, I think. But Roddy was like a New Orleans legend there. Everyone knew him there. My good friend Tazzy Colom was very dear friends with him, and he used to help a lot of people down there with posing. A couple of my clients who lived down there, did posing with him. And I just think he got into some, I just think he was in a bad funk, and he had some health issues, and just it's very sad. I hate seeing. He was about like our age, like I think 55 or something like that. And
how did he pass away?
I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know if the family wants him, to put it out there, but it was not a good way to die. Put it that way. And there was another death. Someone just told me today, and I don't know if you know her. I think you do know her actually, but you remember Trudy Ireland?
Very familiar name.
She came up to me 15 years ago. She was the nicest person. 15 years ago, she came up to me when she had just started competing or something like that. And she started later. And she might have been working out. I don't know what her history was before that. But she's like, I need to meet you. I said, oh, really? Why? She's like, I'm the female Dave Palumbo or something like that. She was like super fan, Dave Palumbo super fan. And she wanted to just be like huge jacked. And, she loved women's bodybuilding and just the nicest. I never heard anyone say a bad word about it. She's the nicest people I know. She had some kind of like blood clot and I think a stroke or something like that. And she died. I don't have the official cause of death, but I believe it was a stroke, and very, very sad because she was a really nice woman. So I want to send my condolences out to her family as well, and prayers and all that stuff. I hate reporting this stuff, but unfortunately, people do die in our industry, and I think they deserve to get a little mention and some honor, on the show. And I know a lot of people. So thanks for the people who reached out to me and told me about her, because I hadn't heard what went on. And, I think she died on the 28th, actually. So that's the sad. I got to get the sad news out of the way because I don't want to, I don't want to make the whole show sad. Did you see Kevin Levroni's niece? She's been cleaning house in track and field.
No, I didn't. Well, Kevin had that one. Remember, he did that sprint against the world champion. Who was that?
Yeah. Tim Montgomery.
Yes.
Yeah. He was good for 40 yards, and then that was it. But this is Levroni's niece. I believe it's his brother's daughter. She's got the hyphenated last name, McLaughlin Levroni.
She's got the delts too.
Yeah, she's the 400 meter champion. World
champion. World champion.
400 hurdles. That's her event, but she can run anything. She actually even offered to run the 4x100 relay at the Olympics if they want to use her. She's like, I can do it. She's like, she just won her. She just did her first hurdles of the year. She'd been doing just like 400 meter straight events, and then she did the hurdles, and she won her, I guess, with the best time of the year, 52.7, which is, you and I would be like in the dust, and that's with hurdles every couple of meters, it's crazy. So she's going to be trying to win the Olympics. Obviously, I'm sure she'll definitely qualify for the Olympics again. And it was at the Edwin Moses race. I guess they have a race every year in his honor. He was the 400 meter guy who didn't lose for 10 years.
It's Edwin Moses.
Excuse me, Edwin Moses. You're right. He won over 120 races.
Yeah.
He was like the what's it called? The Cal Ripken of like running. So she's gonna clean house in the Olympics, assuming she doesn't get injured or anything like that. She's gonna be pretty cool. So I didn't know that she was related to Kevin. Kevin reached out to me and told me that that she was. I'm like, I guess I haven't really yet. Think about it. Yeah, you don't really hear Lavroni. It's not like a common name that you hear.
No.
I don't know anyone else who's named that, so I guess it makes sense that she's in the family, so to speak. She's got the Lavroni genetics, that's for sure. I'm convinced that Kevin could have been successful in any sport he would have put his mind to.
Yeah.
He probably would have been a good runner if he would have done it. Probably would have made a lot more money too. But maybe not, because he's got the supplement company now, he's doing really well with. Really well.
Yeah, I hear it's doing crazy well.
Yeah, he's making good money. All right, Nick Walker was in New York this past weekend, and he was guest posing at the NPC Atlantic States. What was the last Atlantic States you went to?
Oh my God, eons ago.
You know what the first one I went to? I'll never forget it. I bet you know the first one I went to.
Of course. Let's see. It's when Dorian Yates guest posed.
That's right. Everyone remembers that.
92, right? Or 93.
It's like, how like people know where they were when Kennedy was shot, and all that stuff. Like everyone knows where they were when Dorian did the guest posing in Atlantic States.
You tell the story, and then I'll tell the story.
No, it was the first like big show at New York show I'd gone to. I mean, I've been competing obviously before that, but I went there with Doug Wentz because we all wanted to see Dorian, and we're sitting there, we're waiting for Dorian to come out and do the guest posing. He was 6 weeks out from the Olympia. This was in '93 when he was insane on stage, and he walked out at about 290 pounds or so, and he was no one had ever been that big before. If you look at it now, you're like, oh yeah, he's big and he's pretty impressive, but you got to realize no one ever looked like that before. There was what
was the craziest body part on him?
Calves, probably.
Oh, Dave.
Calves look.
Can I tell the story now?
All right, now go ahead.
Okay, Bob Gruskin, the original and greatest guru of all time. He called me. He called me after that guest pose the next day.
Right.
And he told me that Dorian Yates guest pose and he's going to kill these guys. And the first thing out of his mouth was calves.
I've never seen anything like it. Yeah.
Right?
They were so big that they looked like tree stumps. They didn't look human.
Isn't that funny that all these years later, I said, you tell the story because I knew what you're going to say because you that's exactly what Bob said. The calves, not the back, not the lats, the calves.
They were because they were just. I mean, his back was insane too. Don't get me wrong, but his he was unbelievable. He posted a picture of his quads. Did you see that? Dorian did? No.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find.
They're more detailed than people in pro shows right now.
Yeah, he was a fucking freakazoid, man. This is it? Oh, this was the shot. Hold on, let me pull this up. I remember that face. It was like he didn't look human. And the fun, you know what everyone did? Of course, everyone was speculating what drugs he was on. No one was talking about anything. What is he taking? I hear he's taking IGF-1. This was before no one had used IGF-1. Yeah. I hear he's taking 18 IUs of GH. I hear he's doing this. I hear he's doing that. And then, of course, every person who was there, he's like, I got the stuff Dorian's taking. I know he's taking this blend of stuff, and it was forget about it. Anyway, but so Nick Walker guest posed at this year's Atlantic States, and was very popular guest posing. Let's see if we can pull that up. That's from New York Pro. So this is him, I guess, giving a little speech after he posed. And I saw Guy was there with the Juan Morel.
Yeah, Guy told me he was there.
Yeah. Well, they're all local, those guys. So, I mean, for them to go, it's not a big deal. But Yeah, I mean, it's been nice because, Nick had just won the New York Pro, and then obviously, he shows up at the Bev's Atlantic States. So let me see. I think it's on Steve's Bev's gym page. Hold on, let me pull that up. Ah, here it is. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Yeah, so that's all the boys. Let me see here. We got Steve and his wife and Victor, Juan. Juan's wife, Karen. I think that's Juan's daughter. And let's see what else we got here. There's Nick with Guy. So they had a good time. Steve's smiling. He must have made some money at the show.
Yeah. It's always been a good show. Atlantic States.
No, it's always high quality too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's always been a very competitive show.
Here's a trivia question for you. At the 1993 guest posing that Dorian did, who won the overall at the Atlantic States that year? You know who he is, but you probably didn't know who won the show. You probably will never come up with it. But
Robert Lopez.
You were close. You got the right first name, but the wrong last name.
Robert Rothrock. No, Robert Harrop.
Rob Russo. Remember Rob Russo?
Yeah, but I think Bob prepped him.
He probably did.
Yeah,
did he? Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah, he definitely worked with Bob.
That's why Bob was there.
Yeah. Chris, that's why he was there. Okay, I got you. All right. This comment that this guy from Elias Barnes, Dave, you look like Brian Thompson from the movie Cobra. I get this comment all the time that I look like this guy. And I don't think I do. But
I'll tell you. I think you look like John Travolta, but go ahead.
No, I used to look when I was skinny. But I'm going to see if I can pull up this guy from Cobra because I get this all the time. I have random people come up to me.
Woody Harrelson, and then I get Ellen too.
Woody
People say I look like Woody Harrelson or Ellen.
All right, let me pull this guy up. He's got the glasses on.
Yeah, you do. Definitely, there's a cousin resemblance.
Sid pulled it up. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I don't think I look like him. I guess a little bit. I guess I look like.
You sound like Bill Maher when Matt Friend was on his show imitating Bill Maher. Dead Ringer imitating Bill Maher. And Bill Maher said, "I don't hear it. I don't think so."
Yeah. I don't think this guy did a lot. Did he do any movies after Cobra? I don't know of anything else he did after this movie. But anyway.
They say the same thing of you, Dave. They said, "Did he do anything after Fiber Live?" I don't think he really came up with it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh man! All right, let me
Dave,
check.
Someone who was competing was constipated,
Right.
and I said, "Use Fiberlize." So he went out and bought the Fiberlize, and it didn't work. And I said, "Use more," and it still didn't work. What I told him I said, "Use more." It was like 2 scoops, 2 scoops, 2 scoops. He said he couldn't get off the toilet after the triple dose.
Yeah, once it kicks in, then you get, what people don't understand is you can't just. It's not a laxative. It's something to be used every day. So if you're really backed up, it's going to take you a while to push that through. And once you push it through, if you stay on the Fiberlize, it'll keep you regular. I've got a lot of guys converted over. I sent some to Dennis James. He asked me. I sent him. Fuad was giving me some free plugs, because all the guys on the show use it. And he said, I can't use fiber, it bothers my stomach. And I told him, you got to start slow. You got to start with a half a dose a day for a week and then build up. And he's using it now. He loves it, he said. So, I mean, people don't understand. I mean, we make a joke about it, but really no one goes to the bathroom, effectively. And, not only does fiber help regulate, your ability to go to the bathroom and also strengthen your colon, but it actually feeds the gut bacteria. So all the good gut bacteria ferment that fiber and use it as fuel. So it's like you're giving the gut bacteria what it needs to eat. If you don't eat fiber in your diet or take a soluble fiber supplement, the gut bacteria die off, and that makes your digestion really crappy. So it has so many benefits that keeping blood sugar lower, lowering LDL cholesterol, that keeping triglycerides down, that you're a fool not to use it. It really, it's that good. So
besides Trincipionate, it's the only supplement I use.
Exactly.
No, it is. I use it all the time.
No, I know you do. All right. I wish Testalize worked on my hair as well as it works on your hair, because you're good hair.
Listen, my hair's, you have no idea how it gets thinner every day.
That's only stress, though. Yours will come right back.
I'm going to go with...
you got the Tom Platz hair if you really wanted to. You should grow it into a big ponytail, Chris, like Tom Platz does.
I may have to go to wherever. India? No, it's Turkey. Like
Turkey. Everyone goes to Turkey. Turkey.
But I'm just trying to keep my hair better than Urs.
I don't. Urs has got he's got the youth on you.
Well, no, Urs has got the Jay Cutler coif of 2024.
Exactly. All right, I want to bring up another story. I had mentioned a few weeks back that Ryan Kennelly, the bench monster, world bench press world record holder, he was in some dire straits in the hospital, and he was in a coma. He's out now, and he's doing much better. There's Brian in the middle, and I really like Ryan a lot, and everything's going well for him now, and he's home and recovering, and I'm sure he'll be back to being huge and benching over 1,000 pounds anytime now. So thanks God. I know everyone said a lot of prayers for him, and it's great to see that you're doing well, Ryan. Because that was a scary little stretch he had there for a while. All right, what else? I got to look at my list. Oh, so did you see Mike Tyson? Jake Paul is postponed.
I heard that.
Now, supposedly Tyson was on a plane. He wasn't feeling well. And he was getting nauseous and panicky and stuff like that. I think he was having some pain in his stomach. Turns out he had an ulcer, kind of like what happened to Sean Roden. And people don't realize when you get an ulcer, you start getting that pain, and you start bleeding, and you irritate. It's what it is that the internal lining of your stomach gets compromised. And remember, when you eat a protein meal, your body releases hydrochloric acid to activate the protein digestion enzymes there. If you have it could be a tiny nick in the wall of your stomach. Okay, now it's not being protected. Now you have acid pouring into that wound, essentially. And what happens? It hurts. So every time you eat, you're in pain. And it gets worse and worse and worse if you don't treat it. And what they found was, and this is just recently, that stomach ulcers really are initiated by a bacterial invasion of the wall of your stomach. So they can treat ulcers, which they did with Sean Roden's, with just antibiotics, and they kill off the bacteria, the H. pylori that's in there, and and you get better. Once the bacteria are gone, then the stomach lining can heal, and then obviously it closes itself off, and you don't have that pain anymore. But if you don't treat like an H. pylori infection in your stomach, and it gets worse and worse and worse, it can actually lead to stomach cancer. So that's something that, you have to treat really aggressively. And I know when Sean Roden, may he rest in peace, when he was on the show talking about that whole episode that he had, we went through all that. He's like, yeah, I was worried, he said, because they told me, I can get stomach cancer from this. And so luckily they treated it, and it was all better for him. But same thing with Tyson. So I guess they probably wanted Tyson to take a little break in the action, because he probably, you can't train hard if you can't eat. You know that, Chris. No. Especially the boxing training that he's doing. He's got to be able to gobble down the calories to keep his weight up and his recovery going. And so I think they postponed it a month. It's like sometime in July now. So everyone's like, they're going to cancel it. I'm like, they're not canceling anything. You know how much money these guys are getting paid? Tyson will go in the ring half dead, I'm sure, if he had to, for all that money. So that's the Tyson Jake Paul update. I still think the whole thing is kind of a farce, because there's too many rules. Like Tyson, if he knocks out Jake Paul, then he doesn't get paid. To me, it seems like a scam, doesn't it?
When you start, people want to see a fight at the end of the day. They don't want to see a fight with prohibitions on what you can do. Right?
Yep.
They want to see a little war. And that's what people are paying for. They want to see Mike Tyson come out like, savage Mike Tyson of old, and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just remember, Dave, he's still, how old is he? 60 or 58?
58, I think, yeah. Or 59, maybe? I don't know.
He's still 22 years younger than Mick Jagger, who's...
More controversial than that is the whole. Have you been following this whole Ryan Garcia thing?
Well, I follow a little bit.
All right. So the latest
Not the super detail.
Just for people.
I did say, Dave, I did say on this show 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. I said that not all companies are like legit. I mean, there's so many small. I said specifically this: you can start a supplement company with a phone call and have product within 6 weeks.
Right.
And just because you have product within 6 weeks doesn't mean that things can't be contaminated, because there's places that make stuff that say we're, compliant lab, and they're not. So they're making a batch of, fiber. Next, they're making some product for some other company in the same drum that they haven't fully cleaned out. And there you go, contaminated product. But
let me tell you something. Most supplement companies are not also using illegal performance enhancing drugs in there. It's like saying, oh yeah, we make protein powder, and then we make testosterone, powder.
Oh well, I mean, they're making. There's a lot of places that make quasi gray area supplements that are not meant for. True.
All right, but this is a little different. So this situation is that Ryan. First of all, Ryan, I don't think Ryan was cheating purposely, but who knows? He took a urine test after he beat Devin Haney, which was a devastating, knockout, a devastating fight. He knocked him down a few times, really beat his ass, even though it somehow went to a split decision. One of these judges must have been on fucking cocaine or something like that, because the guy had them tied. The other two judges had Ryan winning by a landslide. Anyway, after the fight, he was involved in the voluntary drug testing program, VADA, it's called. And he had been tested in April, and he was clear. And then he got tested, I guess, after the weigh-in. And when the test came back after the fight was already over, obviously, he had come back on the A vial as testing positive for ostarine, which is a SARM, and possibly nandrolone. The second B vial, I think, came back as it wasn't nandrolone, but the ostarine was still there. He said he didn't cheat. He said he's being framed because he's friends with Donald Trump. I don't know what that was all about. But now they're claiming that they tested the supplements he was taking, which was NutriBio Supercarb, and they said it came back containing ostarine. And I guess the company owner is now pissed off as hell, because he said this. We don't have any ostarine anywhere even near in the manufacturing plant. So he thinks they're trying to blame him. Now the question is, did he supposedly tested his open jugs? They tested. He didn't go and buy a new sealed jug and test that, which would be the right way to do it, because I mean, someone could have come into his house and could have tainted or they could have purposely tainted it, just to say, hey, look, it was supplements. Now, the bottom line, Chris, on all this is, at the end of the day, there's something called a no supplement excuse or no supplement rule. You can't blame supplements for failing your test. If you took supplements and they were tainted, shame on you. You should have known better. You should have tested your products ahead of time, or you should have used a reputable company's products. So it's not a good enough excuse. So if these guys fail drug tests, you can't say it was because it's something. Same thing with the Olympic athletes. If they say, well, I can't believe it that this protein powder I was using, we tested it. There's methyl testosterone here. Well, shame on you. Sorry. The company, if they were doing that, shame. They're a horrible company, and that they can't be trusted. But you were dumb. You shouldn't have used it, and that's the no supplement rule. So I don't know. I think he's going to wind up. They're going to make this probably a no contest. I don't think they should give the win to Haney, because he got his ass kicked, and I don't think that the 10 picograms of ostarine in there did anything to help Ryan beat his ass.
Dave, you know where his biggest liability is?
Where?
He bet on himself.
True, which he's not going to lose that money. That's for sure. So,
how do you know?
Well, if he got paid already, I'm sure he's not giving it back.
There's whoever he bet, whoever the house was.
Right. Probably Vegas, I would assume.
Well, there's a legitimate claim to, disputing your win, because you.
It's true. I wonder how that works. Yeah.
Quote, unfairly. Any lawyer would be able to.
You know what, Chris? In today's society, if they're going to drug test you before a fight, the results should come back before the fight. They shouldn't come back. If you're going to get drug tested at the weigh-in, the next day they should have the results ready, because otherwise it's not fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think what's going to happen is they're going to make it a no contest probably, which means that no one wins. It'll be erased from both their records, so that he won't get the win and Devin Haney won't get the loss, because Devin Haney was undefeated. So I think all he cares about is keeping that undefeated record. But you know what? If you got your ass kicked by someone, you still got your ass kicked. I don't care what your record says, But I guess in 5 years from now, no one will remember anymore.
It sets it up. I mean, it sets up a potential, rematch and
I'm sure that.
And
yeah. I wonder if he has to get back. I'll have to get back the prize money. I don't know about that. So anyway, but you know what? I would be pissed too if I owned a supplement company and someone's blaming, me and saying, "Oh yeah, his products have the stuff in it," and they don't.
You should interview the guy. You should interview the owner.
Yeah, we should get him. Well, there's a very easy way. You take sealed tubs of the stuff, because you always keep things in what's called retention, and you test those. You test all your stuff and see how it comes back. The other supplement submitted for testing was BioHealth's Perfect Amino. Both samples were tested for all banned substances, including anabolic steroids, anabolic agents, hormone receptor modulators, including SARMs, HIF stabilizers, diuretics, and masking agents. Perfect Amino was found to have detected approximately 6,600 to 830 picograms per gram powder of ostarine. When Garcia originally caught wind of the B sample results, he was hasty to post on social media, a common theme for him leading up to the Haney fight, where he sarcastically said he loves steroids. Let's go positive. Let's go. We positive, he tweeted. Yeah, he was just fucking around people when he said that, though. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe and not to believe. It seems pretty, Chris. Doesn't it seem a little weird that two different brands of supplements tested positive for ostarine?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I like Brian Garcia. I know our good friend Scooter worked with him, but for fluid, water, making weight, and I'm still not buying the whole thing. Something's fishy here. Something's rotten in the state of Denmark, as Shakespeare would say. All right. Let's see. All right. Talked about that. I'm done. That's it. We can hang out. I have nothing else to talk about.
I can return the car to the rental agency.
Oh my God. Hold on. Let's see where we're going here with this.
I told you we were checking into the hotel on the way down.
Oh yeah. Tell that story. That's a good story.
In Boston, and this guy, so we're checking in, and this guy comes up and he points to me, he said, "Are you Chris Aceto?" And I said, "Yeah." And anyways, I thought for sure he was the manager of the hotel. So I was trying to pull a Dave, a hustle, and get the upgrade on the room.
Yeah.
And the first thing out of my mouth is, "Are you the hotel manager?" And he laughed. He said, "No, I'm speaking here." There was a doctor's convention, and he was an embryologist. I'm sure he's listening to the show.
Right.
And I said,
embryologist. I love it.
Yeah. Is George Farah here? He got the humor and laughed. I said, "Dave, you would have loved it if you were there."
Oh my God. Yeah.
The timing of the punchline.
I love embryologist. That's a good one. I haven't run into any embryologists in my day. I would have had a nice conversation with him for sure.
I'm sure you would have. I was just trying to get an upgrade of the room,
right,
from a doctor who is not the manager.
Right. Well, next week is the Toronto Super Show, so that's going to be a really good one.
That's always a good show. They do a great job there.
God forbid they release the list ahead of time, so we can talk about the competitors in there. Sid, who's in the show? Who do we got on the list so far? I think we got, what's his name? Who's just saying he's going to do the show? Stu. Beef Stew is going to do it.
Yeah.
Who else is in this? Do you have any people on this show, Chris?
Yeah, Akeem's doing the show.
Oh, that's right. Akeem, he told me. That's right. When I was in New York, he told me that. I forgot. Hold on, Artie Stern. Oh, by the way, Artie Stern, who's not really Artie Stern, but I know he loves to plug. He works for Lucid. Lucid is the fastest production electric car on the road. It's like 1,200 horsepower, the top line, and it goes some insane. I think it goes like some kind of over 200 miles per hour. This car goes, and he's been telling me I can test drive it if I go to California. But I think they have a Lucid. Artie, don't they have a Lucid in West Palm? I was telling my friend, he's like, "We're going there." So set it up. I want to drive the Lucid he wants to go 200 miles an hour. And my friend, I told him I'm not going in the car with him at 200 miles an hour. I said, but I would like to drive it. So yes, it's a pretty badass car. Have you seen it, Chris?
Oh, I can't drive it after my accident.
Oh, that's right. You're terrible. You can't exit 200 miles an hour, Chris.
Yeah. I'll be looking at bodybuilding pictures driving down the road at 200. It's okay. I can do both at the same time. Lamar, send me how long ago did you eat? As I'm driving 200 miles an hour.
But at least he won the show, even though your insurance rate's going to go up. I'm sure your wife's not happy about it, but yeah. Hold on, let me pull this, loose it up here. It's a pretty badass car. Look at that thing. It's all electric too. It probably makes no noise whatsoever when it's going. It's probably just like it sounds probably like the Jetsons. Remember when the Jetsons used to have bop around in those the flying cars? That thing's badass. It looks like the car kit from the Knight Rider series. Remember?
The Knight Rider, David. You were really Dave.
Yes.
Do people know what the Knight Rider series
I don't know. Wasn't that what's his name? The guy from Baywatch?
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
He went on to have like a crazy singing career in Europe.
Yeah.
He sold no albums. No one would buy one album in the U.S. But he'd like rival Michael Jackson and
yeah. Did you train them?
And the Rolling Stones. No, I didn't train them.
Hold on. Look, I'm going to show you. Look, the car looks exactly the same. Hold on. Look at this. Hold on. This is that was the Lucid.
We tried to get
There's the Knight Rider car. Doesn't it look just the same? They look like
the Knight Rider car would talk to David Hasselhoff.
Yes, which sounded outrageous back then, but now the cars talk to you all the time. So I mean,
we tried to get Bleckman's Hummer to talk to him.
Oh my God! So Beef Stew's. By the way, Beef Stew reached out to Tyler Mannion and was asked him if his hair was affecting his placings at all, and Tyler said absolutely not, which was the right answer.
You had asked me last week. I said, I told you if he had won the show, people would be saying it's an attribute. If he doesn't win the show, people say, oh, it's a negative. It's your hair.
If Stu nails his tan, I think he's going to win the show. I'm predicting him as is going to be very, very difficult to beat. Although Akeem Williams, I'm sure at his best is also going to be right up there, right next to him. So, but Akeem doesn't have the hair. So, as Dougie Wentz would say, a good haircut always wins.
Akeem's got the wheels, dude.
It's true, he does. But Stu's got good legs too, man. Let's see. Does Akeem have any updated pictures on his Instagram? But he doesn't do that stuff.
Update pictures. Only if I'm squatting like 950 for like 20. Yeah. And Dave's concerned about his legs, wondering if whose legs are better, his or Stu's.
Stu squats too, though. So, right, hold on. We'll pull up. Let's see.
I haven't been to Toronto in years. I'd love to go up. If I didn't have kids, I'd go.
You drive up there. It's not that far from you, right?
Oh, it's a quick flight from Maine.
It's got to be a quick drive too, isn't it?
No, because you have to go through. No, it takes forever.
Side leg is crazy.
Yeah.
That's called a squatting side leg right there. That's a lot of meat. You know what though? The guy's been lifting for him, a light day is like 600-pound squats,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be a good battle. Who else is doing the show, Sid? I
don't know. We don't have the list, right?
I know Sid's in the background there somewhere, so maybe you can get me a list of people. I don't know. I just, I've been arguing with the powers that be for years. I don't know what the problem is with releasing the list 2 weeks before. This is what they thought. They think that if you release the list, that people will look at who's competing and then they won't compete because they're like, oh, I can't beat that guy, so I'm not going to compete. Everyone knows who the best guys are that are competing in the show. It's the guys. No one else knows who else is competing, and that's the problem. So people say, I'm not going to do it because Beef Stew's doing it or Keem's doing it. And meanwhile, there's only 4 guys in the show, and they could have placed top 5 and made some money for themselves. So there's no excuse why they can't release the list 2 weeks before. I mean, this way, at least we can talk about the show and know who's in it. Otherwise, we're just guessing, we have to you think I have time to go through everyone's Instagram and figure out who's in the show? So I don't know. But I know Ron Haish runs a great show up there. So let me see what. Let's see if we can do some reconnaissance work here. Figure out who's in the show.
Are they having a 212 up there? I think they're having a 212.
I think they have every division in that show, right?
Yeah, I think everything.
It's great because they do every single. They even do fitness up there in that show. And we're going to be in on the 21st of the month. We're going to be the Whack Pack is going to be in Montgomery, Alabama, and they got classic physique. You got any good classic guys that need to qualify? Because I don't think that show has got a very stacked lineup yet.
When? How many weeks is it?
That's in 3 weeks. That's the 21st, 22nd of June. So, and we're going to be there for RxMuscle. Yeah. You can send a couple of your guys down there, man.
Yeah, no, I have somebody who should do it. He's like 9 weeks out from a show. He probably could make it. Yeah,
you should. I bet Lamar probably get another win there too. So, there's men's physique, classic. There's fitness.
Where is it, Dave?
Girls. It's in Montgomery, Alabama, right at the Renaissance Hotel. You stay in the hotel. The venue's the hotel, and you get to see the Whack Pack there. It's going to be me, Jimmy the Bull, Lee Priest is coming in, John Romano, Greg Valentino, and his girlfriend are actually going to be coming in. Sid will be there emceeing, so it's going to be a great show. All right, that's the IB1. I'll pull that up so give Michelle a little plug on that one. Giving a lot of plugs today for people. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. We're 3 weeks out here. Here we go.
Yeah, I have somebody. I'm going to talk to him right after the show.
I'm telling you, get him in there. This is a good opportunity.
He can win on his shape and
men's classic, fitness, open and masters, figure, open and masters, and men's physique, open and masters. This is a very good opportunity to qualify for the Olympia. And like I said, you'll get to hang out with us, and it's going to be a fun weekend. There's an after party, after the show, right in the hotel. We have the seminar, the Whack Pack seminar on Friday after the weigh-in and check-in. All the NPC divisions are there. You guys can qualify for nationals there and all the upcoming national shows. It's going to be great.
Is Valentino doing the seminar?
Yes, Valentino will be doing the seminar too. Yeah,
Valentino and Lee Priest.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It is a once in a lifetime to get them in the same room.
All right, hold on. Sid posted a picture. The truth about hi Dave, my buddy just started his first cycle. He's obsessed with the idea of doing trend. I've tried to talk him out of it because he doesn't take it serious. Probably not the best thing to do if it's like your first cycle. That's for sure. And the problem with people don't understand trembling. You talk about steroids and roid rage and all the side effects of steroids. Most steroids don't cause any side effects. Like if you take 500 milligrams a week of testosterone, or you take a little DECA, you probably might get a little acne if you're prone to it. You're not going to get much more in terms of side effects. But when you start talking about like Anadrol or Trenbolone, it's like going from being a beginner to like advanced. You don't have to go that level. You go there, you're going to have all the side effects. You're going to have acne. You're going to have aggression. You're going to have problems sleeping. You're going to have digestion irritation. You're going to wind up getting in a fight and breaking up with your girlfriend. There's a lot of side effects. It's really the last drug you want to do. So you start out, you do stuff that you don't do the dangerous stuff. You don't do the stuff that, is going to have side effects first. I remember when I did my first cycle, I did like Primobolan and Winstrol. I had 0 side effects. I said, wow, this stuff is great. Steroids don't cause any side effects. And I actually made some good gains on the stuff. So when your body is fresh, there's no reason to do, to use a nuclear bomb to blow up an anthill. That's the analogy I usually give you. Use the least, you can do Anavar and Winstrol pills and probably make good progress if you've never done anything before. So I think a lot of people just go crazy. I mean, you see it all the time. Chris, how many people call you and say, Chris, what's the cycle I'm going to use? They haven't even asked yet one question yet. That's all they want to know. What cycle are you putting me on?
Yeah, it's it's out of hand, actually. That's my comment.
Yeah. And I know you, Chris, because I know that the first thing they're asking you is the drugs, and you're like Mr. Conservative when it comes to that stuff. And they're probably like, no, I want the real stuff. I want the stuff you use for the top guys, right? They think you have you're hiding the good stuff, for only the Olympia guys. You're going to give that to.
Yeah, the super top guys, the super top. Unfortunately, you're not. The ones that I know have not needed the amounts that people think they need, which is such a contradiction because it's just there's a disassociation, a disconnect. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? You would think
yeah.
I mean, genetics in this sport is huge, right?
It's unfortunately it's so huge that it's. I don't even like to even say how huge it is because it can discourage people from actually getting involved.
Yeah, it can discourage. You know what, Dave? You took the words right out of my mouth. It can discourage, but I do know people who I coached someone recently. I don't want to say his name here. I mean, he could care less, but I started with him in, I think 2019, 18,
right.
and he's a pro now. I'm not going to say who it is, what division, but he was horrendous when he started.
Right.
And so horrendous. So you don't know what people's underlying genetics are, because if he had posed for you and he said, I want to be a pro bodybuilder, he would say simply this: Chris, you got to tell this guy there's no way in hell. So sometimes you don't know. Right. And then sometimes maybe, the genetics are not super, but they're good or very good, but their work ethic is just stunning.
Yeah.
And, they can get there too. So, it's great when you get like a Dorian with great genetics and stunning work ethic, because, I think Dorian has been very transparent about what he did use and did not use. And most people who probably read what he disclosed that he's used would just, say that he's lying.
You're right.
He's a 60-year-old man. He doesn't have to lie what he used 35 years ago.
Right.
So
there are people also, Chris, that are just crazy hyper responders.
Yes.
Like, you can give them one shot of testosterone a week, and it's they grow you would think they were on every drug in creation,
100%.
And they don't even know that. You don't even know that. You're helping them. They're like, I want to be a pro bodybuilder. You're like, well, all right, yeah, let's work together. And then they never did a cycle. They go on a cycle and they put on 25 pounds of muscle, and it's just how the heck did that happen? But it's genetics, So. That's the answer. So the answer is, should you use Tren? Maybe. If it's your first cycle, I would say no. I think that's a safe answer. The less you can use, the better at first, because eventually no one's doing this for 1 year. Most bodybuilders who get involved in competition are probably going to be doing this for at least 10 years. So think of it in this terms: the less I can use initially is going to make me have other stuff I can use down the road when I'm not responding, or my body's not responding anymore. If you use everything in the beginning, you're going to hit a point where nothing works anymore. And you're going to be like, all right, it's been 2 years. I can't even put any more muscle on because I've used everything already. So use as little as possible at first.
Yeah,
get as much out of it.
Person says, I can't get the real stuff anymore. Right?
Yeah, that's the excuse, right?
No, it worked for you when it worked, and now it doesn't work anymore.
Right. Right. No, but it's true. I knew guys that when they've been using stuff since they were 13, and then they just by 22 they don't even haven't put another pound of muscle on for the last for 5 more years after that. Whereas the guys like Kai, Rodin, they were natural as long as they can. And then when they used stuff, they used a little bit of stuff, and they continued to grow, and then they kept adding a little bit more. Ronnie was the same way, and they kept growing consistently. But when they first started using gear, they already had a good base because they had already had a natural base. And that's the key. If you can maximize your eating and your training and how much muscle you have naturally, and you can get that to a high amount, and then you just say, I'm plateaued, I can't grow anymore. And then you add a little bit of gear in. It's like your body responds 1,000 times better to that. And I think that, I swear to you that's the truth. you don't have to listen. I know a lot of people don't have patience. They don't want to wait. They can't say, it's going to take me 5 years. They want to do it today. But if you try to do it all in one day, all in 1 year, you're going to backfire on you, and you're going to have very, very poor long-term results. This is a sport that is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and you have to take your time. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't maximize your training, maximize your food intake, and live the lifestyle. It just means don't think that the drugs are going to be the be-all and end-all for your results. End of story. That, I think I'll leave off on on that. And say that, as we say every week, Chris, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us live.